It's time. We're getting ready for the DC Gathering, DC's first Pokemon card show. Let's go. All right, y'all, it's time to get ready for DC's first Pokemon card show, and I am so excited. It's my friend Miles' first show as an organizer, and it's gonna be amazing. But before we can get ready for the show, we got a plan. I do this for any Pokemon show that we go to. There are two things I have to do. One, what is our objective? And two, what is our budget? Because I cannot go to a show without a budget and a plan, because bad things happen. Only bad things will happen if you go without a plan or a budget. Your wallet will be mad at you, and you will only have buyer's regret the next day. And here's the thing, if you are new to this is not like going shopping at Target or Walmart or Costco, especially Costco, because you cannot return what you buy. That's the thing about TCG products, okay? There is no return policy, especially with vendors. If you go to a card shop, you cannot return it. The thing about TCG products, they are not returnable. You have to go with a plan because there is no buyer's remorse. Can't have it. So as we get ready for this, I wanted to take you guys along with me. So I'm going to be trying my very first buyer's POV, praying for no technical difficulties. So to do that, and for it to make sense when you come along with me on that POV, I wanted you to bring you along with me as I get ready for the day. To have it make sense for you to come along with me, we're going to get you ready by preparing you with some terminology. All right? Bear with me. Some of this will make sense later in the video, but first word, first acronym, LCS, Local Card Shop. If you're into comic books, you might be familiar with it as Local Comic Book Shop. In this sense, we're using it as Local Card Shop. Next one, Raw Card. You guys are familiar with it. You've seen it. You'll deal with it. It's all the cards as they come out from the pack. Okay? So raw cards are just these cards. They're the cards as they come out of the packs. They're not sleeved. They're just this. Okay? All the cards. Common cards, the uncommon cards. They're just as they come out of a pack. That's all it is. That's what a raw card is. The next card word is slab. A slab is a graded card. A graded card is a card that is sent to a grading company and comes back encapsulated or protected. You guys have seen it in the backdrop of my studio. Those are all slabs. This is a slab. This is a slab. This is a slab from a different company. Those are all slabs. They are raw cards encapsulated by a company. It's a nickname. So when you go to a show or you go to an LCS and you see a table of it, those are all slabs. The different companies. This one is CGC, Certified Guarantee Company. This is a PSA. Where are you, PSA? PSA. That is a company. I don't have a Beckett, so I don't have that. But those are all just different companies who make slabs. So that is the universal language for a graded card. Okay? There's so many different sealed products, but it's the universal word people use for things that are not slabs or graded cards. They are this. This is a sealed product. This is an ETB, an Elite Trainer Box. Okay, ETB, Elite Trainer Box. This is an example of a sealed product. This is another example of a sealed product. A Journey Together Booster Box. A booster box is an example of a sealed product. It has 36 packs. These are just examples I wanted to show you guys. I don't have a booster bundle, but that's an example of a sealed product. Tins are an example of a sealed product, right? This is an empty tin, but an example of a sealed product. Plushies. You'll see plenty of plushies. You'll see dolls. You'll see pins. You'll see so many things at shows. Card conditions. Let me explain to you about card conditions. There are different types of card conditions, but there's a universal acronym and understanding that is used in the TCG world, the card game world, right? TCG, the card game. There is a company called TCG Player that does a wonderful job of explaining it. And so I'm gonna put a link in the description below, and so that you guys can use it. And they use NM. When you're looking at card descriptions, you may see an NM. That's near mint. Okay? LP, lightly played. MP, moderately played. HP, heavily played. And DM, G, damaged, right? So there are some examples here of what that is, just so you can see it. But take your time, read that for further information. I'm going to show you an example of one that is probably lightly played. Maybe if I can get it out, maybe moderately played a little bit. When you look at damage, there are probably 3 areas that people look at: surface, edges, and corners, right? So the surface of this is decent, right? But the reason I call it lightly played is the back. The corners have some whitening right here. The edges have some whitening. See the corners again? The edges have some whitening right there. The bottom. So the surface may be okay, but this isn't near mint where there would be nothing you see. So this is kind of between lightly played and moderately played. I still liked it and still wanted to pick it up because it's an amazing, like, look at that hollow. Right? Am I right? Feel free to share in the comments if you think it's lightly played or moderately played. But that is an example of that. So the reason I want you to understand NM, MP, LP, HP, and damage is you're going to see that at vendor tables. And that's the distinction between the damage you see on the cards. Now, you may not agree with the vendor on how they've described it. Have a conversation with the vendor about that. But the reason they put that on is because the damage you see on the card impacts the value of the card. Okay? So we'll talk about that in a minute, but you need to understand conditioning of a card impacts the card's value. All right? The other thing to understand is there are always 2 types, if not more, cards on a vendor's table probably. You will see English cards that you see on my stream and videos all the time, right? You see the Pikachu in English, but I also have the Pikachu in Japanese. Personally, I prefer Japanese graded cards much more than the American version. Because I find, and many people find, that the Japanese texture, I mean, look at that. Did you see that? Is more vibrant than the American version. Something about the printing of Japanese cards, it doesn't come out in the American printing. To each their own. Some people prefer Japanese texture and some people prefer American cards. Everyone's journey is their own. I've always said it. I still believe it. Some people want to be able to read their cards, and that's fine. You do you. I prefer the beauty of the card. Everyone do their own. That's why we do it, right? So on the vendor's table, you will see English cards. You may see Japanese cards. You may see one or the other, both. I don't know. Every vendor is their own, does their own thing. You just got to ask questions. You got to look and see what you can find. Don't just jump to the first vendor you see. Make sure you do a lap around the show before you settle on any one vendor, because every vendor has different stock of cards, sealed products, slabs, and has different prices for them and operates differently. Okay, so make sure you check it out, do a pass around first, see what options there are, see what they're selling at before you commit any one way or the other, because you don't want to immediately jump in and then be like, I missed out on a great deal 2 vendors later, right? Now, how do you pay at the shows? There are 3 ways: cash, trade, or trade with cash on top. Cash is always going to be king. Vendors always love cash. Cash is the easiest way that you can pay. If you don't have cash, you have to ask them, what do you take? they don't normally like credit card. People may take it through Venmo or PayPal, but typically they prefer cash. They may take Venmo, they may take PayPal, they may take Zelle, and they may take Cash App. Those are usually the common forms I've seen. They may not take one form of those. So you have to ask, what do you take? What are you okay with? What do you accept? Make sure you ask that up front, because if you go and do a deal and they don't take the only form of payment you have, you've just wasted their time and your own. So ask up front, hey, do you take Zelle? Do you take Venmo? Do you take Cash App? Because that's all I got. Ask that up front before you go and look at the whole thing and you're like, oh, man, he doesn't even take Venmo? That's all I got. You know what I mean? Unless you have cash, because cash is king. You find out you don't have cash, or you have cash and you figure it out. That's great. You're settled. You're golden. Let's say you have trade you want to do. All right. That's one of the things I try to do before a show. I have a bunch of cards that I am going to look to trade in. Sometimes I go to an LCS. Sometimes I take my cards to the shows. LCSs and vendors at shows operate differently. LCSs have different overhead and costs that they have to take into account. So you have to ask, what do you take in? What is your cost? And they will tell you sometimes, usually we do cash at 50%. We do trades at 60%. That means if a card is worth, they will give you 50% of that card's value in cash, or 60% of that card's value towards trade for anything else in the store. Does it make sense? And the reason is they have overhead. They have to be able to take that card and sell it and get the value to pay for whatever they have in the store. Lights, the electricity, the employees, right? So they have a lot more. Brick and mortar is a lot harder to maintain than a vendor who sets up shop and can close up and then go back home, right? It's a different world. Vendors at shows can give you a little bit more percentage, but not by much. So vendors at shows are usually 70% of a card's value for cash, or 80% in trade. Now, sometimes it can vary. Sometimes it can be 85% trade. You got to ask each vendor. Every vendor is different. It's not gospel. It's not gospel. You have to ask. And before you say, I could get this better somewhere else, amazing. Congratulations. Go where you can get the best deal. That's the best thing I can say. If you can get a better deal somewhere else, definitely go for it. But that is usually what you'll find at trade shows, okay? LCSs, you will usually find 50 to 60%. Card shows, you'll find 70 to 80%. Sometimes you'll get 80% cash, 80% trade maybe. It depends. Every vendor is different. You have to ask the questions. Now, when I say every vendor is different, what I also mean by that is not every vendor will take every card. I have all these cards. Not every vendor will take every card. For example, these are Journey Together cards. Journey Together just came out last week. The prices on Journey Together are changing so quickly that some vendors won't even trade in for these cards. They want to wait another week before the market stabilizes before they will trade it in. And some vendors are like, yeah, give me your Journey Together cards. I want them immediately, right? So these are hit or miss. I'll probably still take them, but not every vendor will want to buy them from me. So keep that in mind. The other thing that's hit and miss are Japanese cards. Not every vendor will buy Japanese cards. LCSs, in Maryland, I know of one store that will buy my Japanese cards. Not every vendor will buy Japanese cards. And not every vendor wants all the cards. So like, I have all these cards that are good for trade. I'm not going to waste my time and take all these in. Here's why. Not every vendor wants the EX cards or the V cards, right? A lot of this I found I do better selling at LCS stores. And the value I get for them isn't necessarily the value of the card. So I don't take them to shows with me. I usually take full arts, cards that have a higher value. And so I divide my cards up in that way. So keep in mind, I'm going to be looking up the card values to see which ones are worth taking to the shows and which ones I'll save till I go to an LCS store. Does that make sense? This is just me though. You do what you want to do, because you know, you might run into a vendor who's like, yeah, give me all your Vs. Give me your V stars, right? You might go and he's like, hey, I want all your Vs. I want your EXs. Give me your EXs. Give me your, let's go through this. Give me your Vs. Give me your EX. Give me your Gengars, you know, give me all of this, right? And that would be amazing. Every vendor is different. I just know from my experience, having gone to some shows, I don't get a lot of luck with that, so I'm not going to do it. But I am going to take some of these full arts that I have, some of the trainers like Prismatic Evolution. Those are usually hard to find, so I'm going to take that. I'm going to take this Master Ball from Prismatic. I'm going to take the Pokeball from Prismatic. Prismatic Pokeball, and I'll probably take this full art promo card. So I usually have good luck with those, so I'll probably put that in my pack. And then I'm going to be taking some slabs, these. And I'm going to look at the value so that I know what the value is. So let's talk about values. There are different ways to look up the values of your cards. I like to use the collector app because, for example, if I look up this Pikachu VMAX, there it is. It gives me the price for the blank card, but it also gives me the graded price. So I'll click on the PS10. Oh no, that took away the PSA 10. I want the PSA 10, which is $62. Take out all the others. Well, it's easier on the app, but it's $62 here. So if I see it, I think it blacked out everything else. So $62, I know that this is $62. So it gives me that value. So I have my collection in the collector app, so it's the easiest way. You guys can find me as Chechi on the collector app if you want to follow me. But vendors tend to use the alt app in looking up values. So if we go back and we look up the Pikachu VMAX TG29, collector said 62. It looks like the latest was $75 about. So it looks like 75 about was the latest one sold today, 62. So you would use that when you talk to a vendor to say, it looks like 75, 62. Let's kind of meet in the middle as to what that price is for this. Now, 75, 62, what are you selling at? What are you trading at? Is it 80%? Let's say it's 75. It would be 80% of 75. Got it? So I'm not doing that math in my head. 80% of 75, I'd get $60 trade value towards something on the table. Does that make sense? If he even wanted this, right? If he said, yeah, I'm interested in that card, we agree on a market price using the alt app. And he said, yeah, I agree the market value is $75. I trade at 80%. If that was the case, then it would be $60 on something on the table. If he's like, I want cash, then it would be 75. I do cash at 70%, then it would be 70%. I'd get $52.50 in cash. Does that make sense? So that's how that would work if that's what they wanted. So to that end, come back. Oh, I am. I'm putting these three up. So I will alt the price. I will collector app the prices so I have an idea what the range is. I'll alt it. The vendors will probably alt it, but I'm at least in the range because it's on my collector app. I may look at the other one so I know, but that is for slabs. So Alt is what the vendors use for slabs. When we look at raw cards, right, then they use something entirely different. They'd use the TCG player. So if we go back and we look at the TCG player, just for the sake of it, we're going to look up 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲. So I'm going to type in, and so that's the card match. And what we want to do is the condition on this card, right? This is why we looked at the condition. This condition is near mint. Just because it's pack fresh does not mean it is near mint. I just want to say that once more. Just because it comes out of a pack does not mean it is near mint. Check the card. Sometimes there can be corner damage. Sometimes it could be, something could happen. Centering could be up. Doesn't mean it's perfect. Okay? Not centering. Centering is more of a grading thing, but doesn't mean it's near mint. So check it, because something could have happened to the corner when it was opened. It might have just gotten scraped or something. Pack fresh doesn't mean perfect, near mint. Okay, so just check it. This one is near mint, though. I did check it. So we click on condition. We're going to hit near mint, and you're going to scroll down. This is not the number you want to look at. This is not. This is kind of a one person's number. So you scroll down. You're going to look for market price. 33.19 is the number you're looking for. Okay. So that is the number the vendor will say, I'm looking at 33.19 as market price, right? So that is the market price they would base this on. And they say, again, I go 80%. So let's say 33, 80% of 33, $26 for trade. And if you want cash, 33 times 70, $23 cash. Does it make sense? So if you did sealed product, meaning I brought in that booster pack, you would do the same thing, because you can also look up sealed product here. So Journey Together booster box. You can get, even though it's out of stock, I have this enhanced one. You can do the same thing. You scroll down, the market price is $2.19. So people do the same thing for finding sealed product. Okay? You would do the same effort you did before if you were trading in sealed product. I'm not trading in sealed product, but people have done that. It's not unheard of, right? Now, I know I showed you the 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲𝗲 as an example. I'll have it. I don't know which vendors will take it tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to bring it or if I'm going to grade it. That's still in the air. I haven't decided myself. So that's the idea with grading. So we did graded cards. We did raw cards. I showed you how to do sealed product. I'm not going to do it myself tomorrow for the game, but let me check my list. So that's how you prepare mentally for, or not mentally, but that's how you prepare for your budget, right? That's how you kind of prepare what you are. Figure out how much cash you can afford to spend. Make up the rest in cards, slabs, raw cards, sealed products, and that is your budget. Do not go over the budget, okay? Once you figure out your budget, then you have to figure out what can you buy with your budget, okay? You can't go outside of your budget. It doesn't work like that. For example, my objective for DC Gathering is very simple. I want 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲 in Japanese. For the same reason I said I like the Japanese Pikachu, Gold Pikachu, it's more vibrant. I enjoy the Japanese graded cards more. And so, and this is a 9. So this value is like 316, I think. We'll just check it right now on the collector app, because that's what we do. So the 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲 graded, and a 9 is about 342, right? They will likely not do it as a 9. They'll probably look at it raw, and raw is still 334, right? So if I go back though, and I look at the Mew in Japanese, it's 170. Graded 10 is 305. So that's what I'm looking for. That's my goal. That's my budget. I'm going to take some cards as a backup, but that is my number one goal, is to get a Japanese Mew in a PSA 10. I'll take a tag 10 too. I'm okay with tag. I know some people are very iffy about it, but that's my goal. So that's it. I just wanted to kind of share that. One last parting thought as I'm getting ready for this to share with you all. When you go to a show, you're going to see people with varying budgets, wallets, expensive tastes, etc. Don't let envy or jealousy get the best of you. Your time will come. Your time to shine, your time to spend will come. Live within your own means. It's all good. It's all good. Have fun with what you have. Enjoy your journey and just make the most of it. I'm going to take you guys along the ride. Hope there's no technical difficulties. And we're just going to have some fun. Our number one objective is a Japanese Bubble Mew. If we get anything else, that'll be amazing. And we're just going to have some fun. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Hey fam, we realized in post-editing that I didn't actually show you the screen for checking the pricing of a card. So I want you to actually see that. So we're going to try again and show you how to price a raw card. So let's take two with that. So we're going to try Iono's Bellybolt EX. So you come in and you type Iono's Bellybolt EX, and this one is 188. So we're gonna type that in, and it's gonna pull it up, and it's gonna come here in. You see the card? It matches the card we're looking for, right? Card match. Here's the thing: you want to make sure that the condition matches. So this is the part that's important. Check the card. Mine is near mint. If it's lightly played, make sure you select lightly played. If it's a different type of condition, make sure you select that condition. This one is near mint, so we're going to select that. If there's another condition, select that. Heavily played, moderately played, etc. Okay, so we're going to scroll down, and you want to skip this first one. Skip that, scroll down, past the description and everything, and this is where you're going to look for the pricing. This is the chart. The bar graph is the volume of cards in play that people are buying, and this is the market price that we're looking at, okay? So the market price here is $30.44. So that is the market price that you will want to know when vendors are negotiating with you. So if they tell you that the card is probably worth $5, you know something is wrong because you've done your research, you went on TCG Player, check near mint, and you know that it's worth probably $30 roughly, okay? And so then you know they should be saying the market price that we should be agreeing on is about $30, okay? And we'll take 80% from that if you're talking to a vendor at a show, or whatever percentage they work with, right? So that is how you look at raw card values on TCG Player. If we take another card, let's do Clements Quick Wit, for example, then we are going to come back to the top and type Clements Quick Wit. And I could just type Clements with Quick Wit and find the card that matches. And here it is on the right. Now it's going to say market price $1.53, $1.67. You want to always check condition. Now the condition on this card, as I check it, is near mint. Remember, pack fresh doesn't mean it's always near mint, but I want to check near mint, and I'm going to scroll down past all of that, and here this is going to be $1.53. Okay, so you can see that the price on the left has varied between $1. We go up. You can see how many times it's been sold, how popular it's been, and that it's gone up and down. TCG prices, the prices of a card can go up and down over time. So I just wanted to get back on here and show you that. My apologies, I didn't realize that me going back and forth, I didn't actually show you that. So there you go. Thanks. Hope that was helpful. And there you have it.